Hey guys, it's your girl Symone Renee, and welcome back to the Unwind Rewind, where I sit back and recap some of my favorite shows, which I'm sure some of you guys' favorite shows as well. And with that being said, let's get into today's show, All American Season 4, Episode 11, and All American Homecoming Season 1, Episode 4. Now, if you haven't caught up on the latest episodes, click out of this video. I'm finna spill the tea. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, let's get into the video. Now, let's start off with Layla, who is in the studio with JoJo. I don't know her name in the show, but y'all know JoJo. Lee, get out right now. It's the end of you and me, her. Okay, so she want to work with Layla. Now, they met a few weeks back, and Layla didn't think she was serious when she said she wanted to work with her. But yeah, sis was dead ass. So now they in the studio, and JoJo like, yeah, we can work right now, right? And so Layla playing her these beats, and JoJo is not feeling these beats. She like, girl, this sound like Timbaland. I don't want to work with him. This sound like Swiss Beats. I don't want to work with him. Like, I need you to give me that shit that you be giving Patience. And Layla like, well, I know Patience. I don't know you like that, so we need to get to know each other. And, you know, I can get you something that fits you. So, boom, they eat some food. They get to know each other a little bit. And she get her the perfect beat and whatever. And JoJo is feeling it. And so she asking Layla, like, what you want to do with your life? Like, what's your dreams? Like, you just want to be indie or you want to be big? And Layla's selling herself short. Like, I just want to be indie and whatever. And JoJo like, girl, you know you don't. Like, what's tea? And she finally tells her, like, I do want to have an empire, but she is nervous because she gonna be competition to her daddy. And JoJo telling her, like, look, baby, you the shit. And so Layla says she finna start building her empire, baby, and that's just that on that. But let's move on. Now, y'all know Asher want to be a coach, right? So his new coach. Okay, this is interesting. So y'all remember Coach Montez, the female coach that they had? Her husband is also a coach, and he is teaching Ashernam college team. And so JJ like, oh, you need to talk to him. So he introduced them, and Asher shoot his shot like, look, I want to be a student coach. And so Montez like, okay, I'm going to give you this assignment. Watch this old game of mine, and you tell me, you know, what's wrong. And so he watch it and he like, okay, this wrong. And Montez like, nope, try again, boo-boo. And so he go back and he watch again. He come back and nope, you wrong again. So he like, okay. Now, the third time, Asher is just fed the fuck up because he like, I don't know. You tell me, because if you didn't want to hire me, you should have just said that, like, keep it real. Ain't no wrong. I don't know what you looking for. And so the coach like, okay, so the quarterback in the game had a foot injury, and Coach Montez didn't catch it because the player hit it. And so Asher like, okay, well, how was you supposed to know if you hit it? And he was telling Asher, coaching ain't just about making plays, and it ain't just about winning. You got to know your players. So he should have caught the fact that the dude had an injury, and he basically told Asher, like, you're not ready to be a coach, but you can wash some jerseys. And Asher like, okay, cool. And he like, you cool with that? He's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He ready to start from the bottom. He gonna work his way up and do what he gotta do. And I was like, okay, Asher, humble, I see you. And Asher, we all know he gonna be a coach. He gonna be a good coach. Asher know what he doing. And yeah, so that's his plan. He gonna start from the bottom and work his way up as he should. And I was here for that. So Asher, you keep doing your thing, baby. You keep doing your thing. Look at how you looking with them blue eyes, okay? But let's move on. Now, we all know that Billy is intern principal right now, and he ain't been principal for all the 24 hours, and he done brung Preach, yes, Preach, on as a tutor, okay? And Preach is killing the tutoring, okay? He got them in there confused as hell. He talking about Shakespeare, and they like, don't nobody want to talk about him. He like, but Shakespeare had rhymes, so he comparing it to hip-hop, and they don't know if it's Shakespeare or Lupe Fiasco, that's his name, yeah. So he doing real good, and they liking it, right? The students are loving it. And so then a fight break out. So Preach handle it like, nah, I'm gonna put them in this tutoring class. Don't, you know what I'm saying, get them in trouble. Just, I'm finna, you know, help them and whatever. And he ain't even been tutoring them for 24 hours, and they grades is already up and whatever. So now Billy, he wanna be the principal full time, and Grace ain't with it because she like, boy, you know, I care about you and I care about this school. And if a D1 college calls you right now, you will be on the first thing smoking. Like, you too selfish. And you don't even live in South Crenshaw. So she got another candidate. I don't know how she is in charge of hiring a principal, but whatever. She got another candidate who live in South Crenshaw, who care about the school, who know the students. So I'm like, bitch, are you talking about yourself? But she didn't say that she was talking about herself. And so Billy had went home and he was telling Laura like he thinking about being principal full time. And she was like, okay, cool. Baby, they finna move to GW house full time in South Crenshaw so he could be in South Crenshaw and be in the neighborhood with his students. Baby, I said, so y'all finna leave Beverly Hills, y'all house, to go live in South Crenshaw so you can be a principal. Baby, you can drive to work. That's all I'm saying. You can drive the fuck to work. And baby, he say he finna be principal and Preach ain't going nowhere. They finna be there and they finna run the school together. And I was like, okay, okay. But you can still drive to work. You ain't gotta move the chrome. You ain't gotta move. Maybe. Anyway, let's move on. Y'all remember the little girl Jen that Olivia is sponsoring? Her, she missing, right? And so she called Spencer, and Spencer got his own shit going on, so he can't help her, and she mad. So she, got Jordan helping her, and they found the little girl at the Slauson Cafe because she skipped her first day of school, and everybody going ape shit. And so they like, why you miss school or whatever? And she said that she is scared to go back to school because she been clean the whole summer, and she don't want to be around the same people that had her doing drugs. And Olivia like, it's gonna be temptations everywhere, but that's part of the program. Like, if you feel tempted, you need to call me. That's what I'm here for and whatever. So they found the little girl. That was that on that. So let's move on. Now, if y'all play sports, y'all know how they got like the pyramid thing. Like, oh, you was the best. You at the top of the pyramid. You was second best. You in the middle of the pyramid like that. Spencer didn't make the pyramid, right? And he is upset that he didn't make this pyramid. So he was talking to Coach Kenny, the black coach, and he was like, Coach Gary don't want me here. And Coach Gary overheard him, and he was like, I sure don't. Isaiah, it's a dude named Isaiah, don't know him. He a better player than you. You took his scholarship. You not supposed to be here. And Spencer like, I didn't take nobody's scholarship. And Coach Kenny like, well, he didn't really take it. It's more to it than that. And he basically told Spencer like, you think because you was the shit in high school that you gonna be the shit here, but you not the shit here. So you good, but you ain't that good. It's better players than you. Like, he checked Spencer, and Spencer was like, what the fuck, right? And so he called Olivia, because she supposed to be his girlfriend, like, I need to talk to you. And she is still pissed about the Jen thing because he couldn't help her. And she like, oh, you wasn't there when I needed you and blah, blah, blah. And he went the fuck off. And I was like, okay, Spencer James. And he was like, are you serious? Like, I got a lot of shit going on in my life with my football career that ain't going right. I got too much stuff going on. Do you want to talk to me about Jen? You know what? You with Jen? Cool. You stay with Jen. I'll talk to you later. Baby, your man just called you and told you that he going through it, and you want to talk about your problem. Okay, you talked about the problem that you have that you solved. You solved your problem. Your problem is no longer fucking existing, and you is still mad at him, and he ain't even solved it. Ain't you supposed to be helping him solve his problem? But you want to add more stress? You want to put more on his plate? Really, Olivia? Get your shit together, because I almost came through the screen and slapped you, bitch. Okay, anyway. So he had went home because he's still mad, and he ran into Asher, and Asher like, do you want to talk about it, or you gonna just keep on slamming shit around, because what's going on? And so Spencer was telling him, and he was like, oh, that sounds familiar, because when you moved to Beverly, you stole my spot and you took both of my girlfriends. And I'm like, Asher, baby, this is not your moment. This is not the time, because he took your spot because he was better than you, and he didn't take it. It was given to him, and he didn't take both of your bitches. Your bitches wanted him, and if he still wanted Layla, he could have Layla, and if he wanted your new bitch Jamie, he could have her too. So what are you saying? Anyway, so he ended up like telling him like, you need to get up with JJ. So JJ had Spencer meditating, right? And he enjoyed himself. He became nimble. He was nimble. Whatever the hell that mean, right? And so he texted Jordan and told Jordan, like, I need you to do me a favor. Now, he had called Billy to talk to him about the coach thing, because when the coach had went off on him, and Billy came over later that day and was like, what's going on? And I was proud of Spencer, because Spencer always run into him with his problems, and it's like, Spencer, he is not your coach no more. He cannot help you. Like, you grown now. You got to deal with this shit on your own. And so he was like, oh, nothing. I was, mad earlier, but I'm good now. And he don't really want to talk about it. And I was like, okay, Spencer, I see you. that is growth because, you know, you a grown man, handle your own shit, right? And so, boom. Olivia came to the house with Jordan. Like, he was like, I gotta grab something, right? And Spencer had set up a little picnic, a little, you know, candlelight for her to apologize to her for, you know, snapping on her and whatever. But he like, I'm going through a lot and I just know I need to find a balance and I'm working on it and whatever. And I don't feel like he should apologize to her because she was wrong. Like, you should have been there for him. The fuck? Like, you're Jen's sponsor. He's not. So if some shit go wrong with her, that's your job to figure out what the hell it is, not Spencer's. And she apologized to him too. I guess we can forgive her. And, you know, they made up and whatever. So then he had went back to school the next day and he ran into Coach Kenny, the black coach. Coach Kenny, we like Coach Kenny. Coach Garrett, we don't like him. Fuck him. So he was like, you know, I apologize for, you know, the way I was acting, but I'm back. I'm finna be better. Like, I had to change my strategy. Like, I'm finna go study this game film and I'm finna study the players because he finna work from the inside out. And he like, I'm finna show Coach Garrett why he lucky to have me. And I was like, he better know about number 11. The fuck? You lucky to have him, baby. But before he go do that, he said he got other things to do. He got to go take that little snack break with Olivia. And I was like, okay, I see you. I see you, King. Keep shining. But anyway, let's get into the TT. Now, we all know it wouldn't be all-American if they didn't give us a stroke and a heart attack in the same episode, baby. So, Patience is in Beverly Hills at the Baker's house because y'all know they live there now. And she is just living her life. And it's a knock on the door. It is a detective. The one that came to question Coop when she was in the hospital. Yes, he is there looking for Coop because he got questions because they opening up murder investigation again. And so Patience like, she not here, but I thought that case was closed. And he like, yeah, well, we opened it again because I just want to know how Coop made it to the hospital with a gunshot wound to the chest. Like, she was unconscious. Like, how she get to the hospital? And Patience like, probably a good Samaritan. Like, I don't know. And he just got jokes. Okay, he threatening her like, oh, what about your single career? You know, you could be arrested for accessory after the fact. And Laura walks in and she like, oh, you don't need to be talking to her. Anything you got to say to her, you need to talk to me. Like, talk to her attorney before you say anything. He's like, oh, you're the DA or former DA. Like, he just making all type of jokes. And I'm like, boy, you're not funny. You are not Kevin Hart. I did not kiki at all. You didn't tickle me. Stop it. So she put his ass out, right? And so she tell Patience, like, you need to tell me everything that happened that night. Now, Patience trying to call Coop, who is out of town on the road. Now, wait a minute. Pause. Let's back up. Now, last episode, Coop was broke down, starving, and gangbanging. So, what is she on the road doing? Because last time I checked, she couldn't rap no more. So, why you gone again? What money do you have? And so, anyway, Patience was telling Laura everything that happened. And Laura like, okay, don't worry about it. I'm finna call my people up at the DA office and don't worry about it. Like, if you need to worry, I tell you. Well, baby, not even 24 hours later, she told her ass, yeah, baby, you need to worry because they got evidence and Coop need to get home right now. And I was like, oh my God, here we go. Here the fuck we go, child. They be stressing me out, child, but let's get into All-American Homecoming because that shit stressed me out too. I said, I'm going to drink this whole bottle of wine because they is just, Let's get into it. Now, Cam is back from his little, whatever he went. Y'all know he had the little brain aneurysm. And he is back, right? And he tells Keisha, like, he finna have brain surgery so he can be back, you know, to play football because the school is holding his scholarship while he recovered. And she like, you finna have brain surgery. Boy, you know that can mess you up even more. Like, she telling him all the risk. And he snaps out like, I didn't ask you. Like, I already made my appointment. I got my doctor. Like, this is what I'm doing. And she like, oh, okay, cool. Now she is catching feelings for him. Okay, she is catching feelings. So later on in the episode, he was talking to Coach Turner. Hey, Coach Turner, y'all know I love him. And Coach Turner was telling him like, look, you gotta find some outside of sports that you love to do because this shit is a hit or miss. Like, you know, like, you gotta have a life outside of sports. Because Cam was like, sports is all he want to do. Like, this is his life. And Coach Turner was telling him like, I did some things that could have cost me everything when I was playing sports, and you just need to have a backup plan, which you do, because it ain't guaranteed. So by the end of the episode, Cam decided that he didn't want to do the surgery. He was going to hold off on it. And he apologized to Keisha for being an asshole, because Keisha told him, I'm not going to waste my time with you. And I was like, know your worth, queen. The fuck? So he not doing the surgery, but that's that on Cam. So let's move on, because we don't really care. Now let's get into JR, because JR went through it this episode, okay? And I was here for all of it. Now, JR parents are alumni, okay? And they are coming into town. All the alumni are. They come every year for an alumni dinner. And the alumni baseball team, they playing against the new baseball team, so Damon and then the tennis players as well. So JR had text Symone, because she was studying with everybody. And he was like, meet me downstairs. And they was talking about the Damon situation. Like, you know, my parents coming this weekend. I'm going to try to find out as much information as possible. And Symone like, okay. And I'm going to, you know, talk to my auntie and try to find out whatever. Because y'all know that JR think that Damon his brother, and Symone think that her auntie is his birth parents. And so Damon came in and he interrupted them. And he looked like, what the hell y'all got going on? He thinks something going on between him and Symone. Okay, but he don't know that they really investigating, right? And so, boom, he ended up confronting JR, like, what was going on with y'all last night? You know, it was a little funny. You been acting a little funny with Symone. And so he was like, boy, ain't nobody worried about, you know, no damn Symone. He ain't trying to be with her. And he like, why you worried about it? So Coach Turner come in and he like, oh, just so y'all know, that little baseball game with the alumni, yeah, I'm one of them. I'm playing against y'all, so I can be y'all coach. So he gives JR the coaching position. And JR like, ooh, yeah. And then JR daddy walked in and he was all happy and excited to see him. But that shit wasn't gonna last for long, because him and his daddy had went to practice, because, you know, they got to get ready for the game. And his daddy was more focused on Damon. And JR wasn't feeling that. But JR was still studying Damon and his daddy together, because, you know, he trying to find out the information. And so him and his daddy was supposed to go to a Braves game to, you know, catch up. And his daddy ended up canceling on him because his parents ain't shit. And mind you, his mama never showed up. And she kept texting him like, oh, I'm coming tonight. Oh, I'm coming in the morning. But she never showed up. So anyway, his daddy had canceled on him. And so he was feeling shitty. And so when they went to the alumni dinner, Coach Turner had told JR like, oh, you know, last night your daddy didn't go out, because JR was like, oh, did you go out with the boys last night? And he was like, your daddy wasn't there. Your daddy was in the room sleep, I guess. I don't know what happened, but he wasn't out. And JR like, wow, right? And so he went and he was filling Symone in about everything that he found. And what he found was, at the little practice, when his daddy was so focused on Damon, that Damon and his daddy, like, they do the same stuff. Like, they set their gloves up the same way. They swing their arm the same way. They everything. They are like mirror images of each other, right? And so it's time for the game. Okay. And JR daddy cannot hit this damn ball. Like, Damon is pitching and his daddy can't hit the ball, because JR is getting in his head, like saying stuff like, oh, you always disappearing. You know how to walk away from stuff, don't you? Like, he is in his head. Okay. And so he's sitting there and he giving Damon the little signals for baseball, like the 1, 2, whatever. I don't fucking know what he was doing, but he was giving him signals, and Damon wasn't following his signals, because the signals weren't signaling. So Damon is like, no, so he do his own thing, and JR gets mad, and he like, why you not following my signals? You need to pay attention. And Damon like, boy, because they not right. You need to get out of your head, like, you got other shit going on and you not focused. You need to focus, right? So they got into a little cat match, right? And so JR feeling shitty, and he told his daddy, like, you know, I was excited to play in this game with you. And he basically disappointed in his dad. And so, baby, he confronted his daddy at the end of the episode, because he like, I'm just gonna ask him if he Damon dead or not, because he just need to know he tired of beating around the goddamn bush. And before he could confront his daddy told him like, look, I know that I've been acting fucked up this weekend, but I wanted to wait on your mama, but since she ain't come because the bitch still ain't come, he just told him, like, I canceled on you on the little Braves game because I had to go meet with a divorce attorney because me and your mama getting a divorce. And JR was like, the fuck you say? Baby, he was so mad, he just walked out. But he's sexy when he mad, though. But baby, they need to put him through it. Let's move on, though. Now, let's get into little Miss Symone because I was not here for her this episode. So, they was all sitting in there studying, like I said before. And this girl named Erica had walked up and she was flirting with Damon. And Symone was a little jealous, right? And so, everybody had left and Damon and Symone was still studying. And baby, why they fall asleep on the couch in the lobby together, head on shoulders? And what happens? Jordan walks in to catch them. Wow. So she trying to explain, like, look, everybody was studying. It wasn't like that. It wasn't what you think. It wasn't, right? And so Jordan like, look, I don't trust him. I don't like the dude, right? And so she like, okay, no worries. Like, I'm free this weekend. It's just going to be me and you because Jordan, you know, he's a classy king. So he was like, oh, we ain't staying in this dorm, baby. I got us a suite. And she like, oh, I'm here for that, right? And so she went to practice and she finds out through Thea that, yeah, baby, you playing in the alumni game. And she like, no, I'm not. And she was like, yeah, somebody requested you to play in the alumni game, so you got to play. And someone like, oh, shit. Right? So before the game, they got the little alumni dinner, right? And they was playing, you know, the little reels and stuff, the little videos of the baseball team. And Jordan catch her like staring at Damon because Damon brought the girl Erica to the dinner. And Symone was just staring at him. And Jordan was like, what the fuck? Like, he was mad. And so they had ran into Amara, and she was telling Jordan, like, you know, you don't got nothing to worry about. She love you, blah, blah, blah. Girl, bye. We ain't trying to hear that shit. And so she ended up telling Jordan, like, you know, she had a panic attack, but that really helped her. And he ain't know nothing about it. So he was shook, like, what the fuck you talking about? And so he went and he confronted her, and she was like, I just didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to bring you down, and whoop, whoop, whoop. And he was like, oh, but you told Damon, though. And she was like, he just happened to be there. Baby, Jordan like, baby, I trust you, but you making it real hard for me to trust you right now. So he left, and so Symone get to the alumni game, and she find out that her and Thea is playing against Thea's grandma and somebody else. Yes, her grandma. Okay. And her grandma is the one who requested that Symone play because she watched the little Queen of the Court battle and whatever. And baby, I said the grandma, and Jordan pulled up and he was like, you know, I love you. I'm here for you, whatever. Baby, they got their ass whooped by them old ass ladies. They beat the shit out of them. And Thea was just so off. Like, you supposed to be the best. Girl, Symone played way better than her. And it was just not. So Symone ends up telling Jordan, like, look, this is what's going on between me and Damon. I don't like him. Like, he might be my cousin. I think that's my auntie baby. And Jordan like, whoo, I thought you were finna break up with me. And he like, no, you need to tell your auntie, like, confront her. Like, let her know, like, don't keep this type of secret. And so she did. And Amara was like, girl, I am not that boy mama. I was never pregnant. No, none of that. Because at the alumni dinner, her friend Candace, Amara friend Candace from back in the day had told Symone, like, oh, you know, your auntie missed a semester of school and we ain't know what happened. We didn't know why. So Symone really thought that she was naming mom, and she was like, girl, no, I've never been pregnant. I missed that semester because of personal reasons, right? And so boom, that was that. So she buttering Jordan up like, look, you know, I don't like Damon. I love you. Like, I almost lost you, but we could make this work. But you got to be okay with me and Damon being friends. Now, two things wrong with this. She was like, cousin or no cousin, you got to be okay with us being friends. But at this point, I had already found out that he wasn't your cousin because your auntie denied it. So why you ain't tell him that you not cousins with him? Girl, you keep on hiding secrets. And so he like, okay, cool. And he had left or whatever. And that was that. And she ran right into Damon as soon as Jordan left. My thing is, girl, you jealous of him being with another girl, Damon. And it's like, Jordan is a good ass dude. So you just need to break up with him and do what you want to do and let him go and find somebody else, because at this point you blocking his blessings. Like, Jordan is a good dude and he don't need to be twisted and tangled in your web of fucking lies. Like, ain't nobody got time for that, Symone. Like, leave him alone, because it's Jordan. He can find another bitch. And that's just that on that. Like, you go ahead, be with Damon, live your little college life, and be great. Let us have Jordan. But let's move on. Now, Damon is checking his phone, seeing if Symone hit him up, because she is busy with her nigga. And JR is like, boy, stop looking for a text from that girl. Like, she got a whole man, you need to leave her alone. And I'm like, that's just that on that, JR. Like, let him know. And so he get mad at JR, like, oh, you and her acting funny, you keeping secrets, like y'all whispering and stuff. And he like, boy, you skipping practice for this girl and everything. Like, she has a man. He keep telling him, like, you need to let that go. Like, ain't nothing going on with me and her. Like, y'all, you know, he almost slipped up and said y'all might be cousins, but he caught himself. Right? And so that little alumni game almost didn't happen because the alumni needed another player. And so Cam was talking shit about baseball, like baseball not a real sport. So Damon had asked Cam to play with the alumni, and Cam did. And let me just say, little side note, Cam, you might want to hang up your little football jersey and get you a baseball jersey, because he can play. Okay, he can play. But anyway, you know, him and JR had got into it. Damon and JR got into it at the little game or whatever. And so Damon was apologizing to him like, look, bro, I know you're going through a lot with your dad, but you need to talk to your dad. Your dad's still alive. He here. He a blessing to you. Like, be happy that you even got a daddy, because I don't. You need to talk to him, work it out, figure it out, whatever y'all going through. And he was like, you know, the game not over. And of course, they won against the old dudes. Okay, they won the game. Period. And so when he had ran into Symone after Jordan left, he telling her like, oh, you know, this weekend it sucked not being able to talk to you. I rely on you so much. And he tells her like, oh, I want to find my birth parents. So now he want to know, because the alumni's being there, because y'all know his birth parents are alumni. He was like, I didn't even know if I was talking to my birth parents or not. Like, I was just looking at everybody like, is our nose the same? Are our eyes the same? Like, he want to know. And Symone like, oh, I thought you didn't care. But now he want to know. But literally, he know she already doing investigating. Okay. So whatever. And then the girl Erica had came, and Symone was jealous again. And I was like, girl, I'm so over it. They be dragging these storylines. They be dragging it. And I don't got time for that. Like, just go ahead. Let them get together. Give us Jordan. She can have him. And let us just move on. Okay? Because All-American is still on. The original All-American is still on. And we can get Jordan a love interest other than Symone, because, baby, she for the streets. Okay, let's get into the tea. So, Coach Turner and Amara walking and talking, and the girl Candace, which is their old friend, pop up on them. And she like, oh, y'all back together? And no, they not back together. So at the alumni dinner, the dude Ralph, her old student, you know, she was talking to him about, like, did you get my article? Because remember, she had called him and was like, I might have a story for you. And he was like, yeah, like, we should talk about it. And she like, okay, yeah, it's a date. And he like, you gonna know if I take you on a date being all flirty. And Coach Turner had interrupted them. And he was just being real shady. Like, oh, how old are you? Oh, you a young buck, huh? Oh, you too young. And Amara like, what the hell? And so JR Daddy was talking to Coach Turner, and he was like, why you stop playing? And he was like, because of my leg injury and whatever. And that ain't why the hell he stopped playing baseball. It's something else going on that we gonna find out later on in the seasons, I guess. So anyway, the girl Candace is talking to Auntie Amara, and she want to know the tea. Like, why y'all really break up? Y'all never said, like, we thought y'all was Jay-Z and Beyonce, you know what I'm saying, of the school. And she don't know. She don't know. So Amara ended up confronting Coach Turner, like, you know, why was you acting like that with Ralph? And he was like, because he young. He a little young buck, like, he jealous of the boy. And, I mean, he ain't got nothing to be worried about, because, I mean, look at Coach Turner and look at Ralph. But anyway, she was like, I just want to know why you broke up with me. Why did you break up with me? And he was like, we need to leave that in the past. And I'm like, sis, y'all been broke up all these years and you don't know why he broke up with you and you just not asking him why he broke up with you? What? What? You child, you don't know. I need to know. I need to know. Because now, since Symone had confronted her about being Damon, mom, it's something going on, because the look on her face was like, damn, she questioning. And so I need to, child, it's too much going on. And we need to figure it out, and we need to figure it out fast, because they not finna have me in here drinking all this wine, child. It's just not. But anyway, y'all, that was that. Okay, so I will be back next week to do another recap to episode 12 All American and episode 5 of All American Homecoming. So again, like, comment, subscribe. Let's have a conversation down in the comment section below. And it's your girl Cynthia Renee, and I am out of here. Peace.